Hey guys, I hope you like this video about the new coral reef they just discovered off of the coast of Tahiti and coral's overall role in global health. If you want to hear more global health news, then please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Hey guys, check it out. I just saw a news article that says that scientists just found a whole new giant coral reef that we didn't even know existed. And this is so amazing. It's so great. And I think that there's a lot of misconception about coral reefs and what they do for our planet and for the people of our planet. And so I just wanted to talk real quick about why finding this coral reef is such a big deal. So they found this reef off of the coast of Tahiti, and they found it about 70 meters below the ocean, the surface of the ocean. And that's super interesting, first of all, because coral reefs aren't typically that deep. That depth is about the limit of sunlight in the ocean, and coral reefs tend to be shallower. And so finding a coral reef that is at that depth is pretty amazing. So they found this reef. It's about 2 miles wide, which is huge for a coral reef. And it's just beautiful. Here's a picture. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about why coral reefs are so important. Now, first of all, coral reefs are one of our big key indicators of how climate change is affecting our planet. Basically, as the water warms, the acidity in the ocean rises. And that's having a huge impact on a lot of different species, one of them being coral. And the effect that it's having on coral is also affecting a bunch of other species. So basically, the acidity is not an environment in which coral can grow and thrive. So our coral reefs are just dying off. And you can see that in a lot of places. So let's talk real quick about what coral reefs do for our planet. So coral reefs are basically where fish hang out. And the more diverse a coral reef is, the more diverse amounts of fish and ocean life they're going to draw to them. And so there's a lot of coral reefs that are off countries that are less developed, that bring a lot of different species of fish to these coasts. And those fish feed these countries, like completely just are the number one food source for a lot of low and middle income countries. Now, this has a huge impact on health. When I was in grad school, I wrote a paper about coral reefs and their effect on under 5 mortality rates. And you can actually see where, as coral reefs die off the coasts of these low and middle income countries, the under 5 child mortality rate rises pretty much in direct correlation of how quickly those reefs are dying. Because what happens is the coral reef dies and the fish start to go away. And so that nutritious, protein-rich, omega-3 rich food source that these countries had just start to disappear. And so in the instance of the paper that I wrote, women who were pregnant were losing that protein-rich source of food, and they were having unhealthy babies. And so babies were being born sick and premature and underweight because they weren't getting that nutrition from the fish because the coral reefs had died. And so that was leading to under 5 mortality rate that was rising as the reef was dying. So one of the things that we're doing in the world to combat this is we're trying to build coral reefs. We basically will make like a concrete platform, and we'll stick poles or rebar in the platforms. And then we've discovered like one species of coral that does survive in this highly acidic ocean water that we're creating through climate change. And so basically what we're doing is we're like planting coral reefs, but just this one species of coral. And so that one species of coral isn't really bringing the diverse fish to that coral reef that there was before. Yes, it's better than nothing. We are bringing some fish to the coast with these artificial coral reefs, but nothing like a real diverse coral reef will bring to the coast of these countries. So finding this coral reef off of the coast of Tahiti that is naturally diverse and hasn't fallen prey to the rising acidity of the ocean because of climate change is amazing. And it's, it brings a lot of hope. We still have to combat the effects of climate change by tailoring our use of fossil fuels and whatnot. This video is not about climate change. It's about the coral reefs, but everything's tied together. The world is one interconnected living organism that all feeds off of each other. So anyway, finding this coral reef off of the coast of Tahiti, that's 70 meters down in the ocean, I'm really excited about. I think that it is going to give us some insight into, maybe there's other coral reefs at this depth that we haven't really explored. And maybe that'll teach us something about how we can replenish coral reefs back off of the coasts of these countries, of these low and middle income countries, for these people who rely on these fish for food and health and their overall well-being. They're not only relying on them for food and for health, but for their gross domestic product. Basically, they sell these fish, they export these fish. People in these countries, their entire job is fishing and selling those fish in order to sustain their families. So these coral reefs are hugely important to our world and to these developing countries. And losing a coral reef off of the coast of one of these countries can just reverse all of the development that happens in these coastal countries. So anyway, check out this news article down below in the bio, and read up on coral reefs and what we're doing scientifically to try to replace the coral reefs we're killing. And then also just read up on what you can do to lessen your impact on climate change so that we can save these coral reefs so that people can continue to have food and be healthy and have a livelihood, and we can continue developing countries.